Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is October 6th, 2020. This is episode 101, just a silly millimeter longer 101. If you remember the Benson and Hedges cigarette ads of I don't know if that was the late 60s or early 70s. If you can go back in time that far, I don't know. You guys are probably pretty young out there. Anyway, we're going to take a look at Patriotika. I think that's how you say it, Patriotika. This is an Antarctic press, 35 years, celebrating 35 years of publishing. This is the number 2 issue, and it's for a whopping $3.99. If you recall, I have done a review of issue 1, and I believe it was a not recommend. I went to the comic book store today. They had pulled this for me. I thought I told them not to pull it, and I just said, what the heck? The cover looks pretty good. What the heck? Can't really miss out too badly. And surprisingly, I really enjoyed this story. So usually it's you buy that first issue, they get you hooked, and you can't wait for the second issue to come out. This was kind of opposite. The first issue I didn't think was that good. It seemed very rough, uneven. The dialogue I felt wasn't that good. The storyline wasn't particularly interesting. This, however, really picked up, and I'm happy to say so. Let's take a look at who worked on this comic. First of all, the story's by Ron Z. And if you remember what I mentioned on the last one, I believe this actually came out like 4 years ago as a Kickstarter of some kind of fundraiser type publication, and I believe it was Mount Olympus Comics. Okay, so stories by Ron Z. The art is by Antipus. I guess that's how you say it. And colors are by Candace Hahn. So it's the same group that worked on the first. This is Patriotica Chapter 2, Twins of the Sun God. And if you recall in the first issue, it's Athena is a warrior. She comes to Earth. There's been a battle in the kind of, I guess, the heavens of Earth, and they've lost that battle. So she falls to Earth and is looking for someone, another body or being to merge with to regain strength. And she ends up merging with this woman named Erin, who's very small, petite, a little bit of a chicken, and suddenly is thrust into this major war that has now ended up on Earth. And what we see in this issue is now a couple of the Egyptian pharaohs of ancient times are also partaking in this story, the Nefertiti and Ramsey, but now they're kind of godlike and they're giants. Okay, so first page just kind of goes back a little bit in time, talking before taking into account before Athena has left to go join the battle, the one that her army has lost eventually. And then it flips right to the action where Patriotika, who's actually Athena and Erin melded together, has come to help out the U.S. troops against these gigantic insects and now 2 gigantic Egyptian gods. And what I love about this is you get to see a lot of lungs on Patriotika, and the dialogue's pretty good. I mean, there's a couple little jokes in there, and it moves along pretty quickly. A lot of action as well. She finds out she's still trying to learn her powers, and Athena's kind of like this voice in the back of her head telling her what to do, as she struggles against these 2 gigantic gods that mean to squash her. And it comes out later on that Athena actually trained with these 2 Ramses and I think it's Nefertiti or something, man and woman, when they were just regular mortals, and she was training them, and they have learned their lessons well, but she feels she should still be more powerful, even though that they're gigantic and godlike now. So one of the new powers that Patriotika has figured out is she can empower by placing a seal on like a weapon or another person, and that weapon or person becomes much more powerful, but you can only use one seal at a time. Kind of like my paladin in World of Warcraft. You can only have one seal in place at a time to boost the powers of everybody else. So she's got this going on. She's learning about that. She tries to boost everybody's um, weapon here. She's only successful with one, but the guy finds he's able to take down one of these huge bugs really easily now. And excuse me, and the fight goes on. The effect only lasts for a little while, so eventually they lose the power, and this guy's gonna get squashed. But Patriotica runs to his rescue and actually places a seal on this one soldier, and he becomes enormous, and he's able to help her out and remove the troops and fight off some of these big bugs as they were, while Patriotica keeps this one soldier from being squashed by Ramsey. So it goes on, and it's got some good dialogue in here. I thought it was pretty interesting overall. It is a recommend now, actually. Not the most fantastic story in the world. I like the art a lot. Obviously, here's Athena when she's training with Ramses and Nefertiti, I think her name is. And now she's actually doing battle with, merged with Aaron here. So it was a good story. You get to see a lot of lung, which is never a bad thing in my book. The people are drawn nicely, beautiful. They're interesting to look at. Here we see a war wraith coming in. They're actually, the two Egyptian gods are trying to get away from it, and they open up a portal later on in the story. And then Athena actually leaves Aaron's body, but Aaron has transformed and she stays into the strong warrior she has turned into. So it gets a little more interesting at the end there. So I don't want to give it all away in case you are interested in it, but we do have like this great cover here. I really like that. It's a nice pose, a little different than a straight on, and a little bit of action in it. Looks like she's flying high above the fields of Nebraska. And we get to find out there's another group of villains to take on now. So I'm not going to give it all away, but it looks like it's going to turn out to be a pretty good story. Then we go into some of the other stuff that Antarctic Press does. Real quick, Koa Raptor, which it looks to be some kind of, I'm not quite sure what that is. Indian warrior on a flying bird, a raptor or something. Then we have Cayman America, which I believe is a Kickstarter going on right now as well, if I'm not mistaken, or finished. We have Rags, Offworld, which I am reviewing. I just did a review of the 3rd issue, and they're advertising the 7th issue now, so I haven't seen the 4th, 5th, or 6th yet. Gold Digger, not sure what that's about. And then we have another ad for Gold Digger, and then this advertisement for an anime and gaming convention in South Texas. So get your game on. And back in print, Gold Digger. So I guess this is a story from a earlier on, back in print for the first time. Fred Perry's Gold Digger, and you get the whole thing black and white, now in full in color. So I guess it was in black and white, now it's in color. So anyway, thank you for stopping by. Please like, please subscribe, please leave comments. Love to hear from you. And once again, this was a recommend. It's a fun comic. It's not going to change your life, but like I said, the art's good in it. The people look beautiful in it. The story's got a lot of action. The dialogue's decent. There's a couple good jokes in there, and I'm gonna be around for issue 3 now. So see how that goes on, how that ends up. It's got Patriotica has a lot of villains to fight, so it's kept me interesting. So this is Indie Comics Jones. Thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And as always, I bid you adieu from the Temple of Tomes.